testified this week, reportedly telling the panel that Biden, quote, was fully capable of being president and is even today. Joining me now is Georgia Congressman Richard McCormick, a member of the House GOP Doctors Caucus and a former emergency room physician. Congressman, there you are. You're a doctor. What do you think about all of this? These testimonies from his former aide saying he's perfectly fine.
His former aide needs to have an evaluation. That is positively a denial of the obvious truth. We could observe it since probably the former election. We could see his deterioration. He wasn't the same politician a decade before that, and he continued to deteriorate both physically and mentally. It was pretty embarrassing, actually, and I think anybody who's looking from a realistic standpoint couldn't deny it anymore. It's funny, if you look at the Democrats, they've continued to say we're conspiracy theorists, and everything that we continue to assert has proven to be true.
Yeah. Well, look, you're also demanding answers from the Department of Energy. You want to know about the spending under the Biden administration. What are you looking for?
Well, think about all the things that we buoyed up as businesses. When government gets involved in picking winners and losers, it's usually a bad thing. And matter of fact, if your model for business is relying on government subsidies, it's not a good business model. And how many businesses were buoyed up and then went bankrupt on the taxpayers' back? That needs to be looked into and accounted for, because that's happened on multiple different presidencies now, and we want to get to the bottom of it and make sure it never happens again.
Well, the Senate Appropriations Committee advancing over $1 trillion in government funding for fiscal year 2026. The Senate still working on to pass a trio of appropriations bills before the August recess, which, of course, begins today after the legislative session. Senate Majority Leader John Thune met with President Trump yesterday to update him on the status of his nominees. And the president wrote on Truth Social this: the Senate must stay in session, taking no recess until the entire executive calendar is clear. Congressman, what do you think is going on here? President Trump has lots of nominees that still need confirmation.
It seems to happen at every presidency where we play games, especially the Democrats. They love to prolong this. They don't want to see Trump's agenda advanced. There are a ton of great candidates that still have not been confirmed. They're going to do everything they can to create drama, but there's really no drama out there. Even the controversial picks have done very well for the Trump administration. So I think as this continues to conclude, the Senate's going to end up being the heroes, and the Democrats are just going to continue their unpopularity.
Well, I mean, look, we've got all of this new information on the Russia collusion lie. The Durham classified annex is now officially declassified. CIA Director John Ratcliffe told me to expect this when he joined me on Sunday. These documents point directly to Hillary Clinton as the key voice who signed off on this whole scheme to take down her political opponent. Meanwhile, they let this go viral across the world. Look at this email that we have. And this is an email leading up to the 2016 election. It is in the summer of 2016. It shows the Clinton campaign's then foreign policy advisor, Julianne Smith, Julie they call her. She constructed the plot, and she says that Hillary Clinton was okay. She okayed it. This email says it all. In one email, you've got the whole story here that HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russia hackers hampering U.S. elections. Let it go viral. And then she actually says that the FBI is going to throw oil on it to even further the lie. Your reaction to all of this?
You know, for years, probably about 6 years now, we've been talking about this. We knew the truth. They've been denying us, once again, calling us conspiracy theorists. The thing that's maddening to me is, even if I wasn't in politics, is how little accountability we've had. I remember during the same period of time when Hillary was smashing her servers and denying basically court orders to turn over evidence, we had a young junior Navy enlisted guy take a picture on a submarine, which he did not share. He was put in jail because he had accountability, put in jail for something that's not even a fraction of what Hillary and her administration did, and yet there's still no scalps. I know Biden pardoned a whole bunch of people. I don't know if Obama and Hillary are part of those people, but I'm ready for some accountability. It's maddening to me that we can't have any after we know the truth has been exposed. We knew this was true before. Now it's out there in the open. I hope we get a scalp.
Well, I mean, you're right. And, you know, what John Ratcliffe said to me on Sunday was that when it comes to conspiracy, It's the last time that they actually conspired, which adds an additional 5 years to the statute of limitations. And the problem is that the conspiracy is continuing because they still won't admit what they've done here. So, I mean, you would think that there should be some accountability. Meanwhile, one point that I've been bringing up is the fact that look at what President Trump has had to clean up. And as a result of your colleagues on the left so obsessed with taking their political opponent down, it was all politics all the time, instead of actually, worrying about our country. Now we are so dependent on the supply chains of China. You've got a war on Ukraine. I pose that issue to John Ratcliffe as well. Watch this, because this is a dereliction of duty, sir. Watch. Not only did the Russia collusion lie destroy people's lives, rip the country apart, but it also diverted energy and resources away from the real threats. So you have people like Adam Schiff, who is now a senator, completely ignoring the fact that Americans were relying on China for their critical elements that we need. For example, today, we rely on 90% of our prescription drugs for China. They're made in China. And so all of this was
100%.
going on, and they were yelling, Russia, 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 and in fact, not even focusing on the actual threats. That, in my view, is a dereliction of duty.
100%, Maria, completely agree. And don't limit it to China. So the mess that we just cleaned up, the Trump administration cleaned up with regard to Iran and its pursuit of a nuclear weapon, what's happening in Ukraine with Russia that we've inherited, and of course, our greatest geopolitical threat, China. All of these people helped build China. They helped create the threat that China is, that Russia is, that Iran is, because they put politics in front of national security. All of these people are responsible for the threats that we're facing as a country right now.
Congressman, your reaction real quick.
Well, think about who the Secretary of State was during the Made in China initiative. It was Secretary Hillary Clinton. That's when Crimea was invaded. That's when China built their empire of resources and drugs and everything else that they've done. That's when that all began. They've caught up to it very quickly in GDP by cheating through the World Trade Organization. And once again, Hillary Clinton was at the back of it.
And then throughout the whole campaign, they lied straight to our face and said Donald Trump was a threat to democracy, just as they were, in fact, threatening democracy. Congressman, it's good to see you. Richard McCormick, thank you. We'll catch up soon.
Always a pleasure.